You know, honestly, 20 years ago when I came to Canada and I landed in Calgary, you could not buy cilantro at that time. And look where Calgary is today. You can buy every and each and every spice here. If I had 10 years ago, if I had thought that I was going to come and do a cooking class here in Kelowna, do you think anybody would have come? I would have probably had 5 people. These are the 6 people who would have come. So bottom line is, we've come a long way. We enjoy our flavors. We enjoy our spices. We've traveled. You know, we've kind of grown to enjoy. Just come on up with me. Just make sure that this doesn't stick to the bottom because I'm not paying much attention there. So we've come a long way from this, and I think we should be really, really proud of ourselves that you know, we are where we are today, and as a whole region. You look at Rodney Butters, for example. You look at some of the other restaurants around here, and I had lunch today at Papadum's, which was an Indian restaurant, and it was brilliant. It was great. It was great to see, you know, the family run, the style they were trying to do it, and it kind of reminded me where I started in '94 when I first opened the restaurant up. When I first opened the restaurant up, my breakaway point was $100. If I sold $100, I would survive, because I was trying to do something non-mainstream. I didn't want to do butter chicken. I didn't want to do chicken tikka masala. There's nothing wrong with that. But it was time to evolve the cuisine. And my father, you know, had this little habit because he was Indian, and he was like, oh, these are a bunch of white people. They will not understand anything. You know, like in a very strong Indian accent, he would say that. And I said to him, I said, no, Dad, I think you're wrong. I said, just wait and see. These are the people who are going to enjoy the food and the flavors and going to understand where we're coming from. And look around today. I mean, you know how honored I am that we're sitting in Kelowna here, and you guys are here, you know, talking about Indian food. You know, it's a great honor. But having said that, I will still insist that we need to broaden our horizons by going and trying different cultural foods, cultural styles. Indian is not the only way. There's Vietnamese, there's Chinese, there's Southeast Asian, there's Thai. That's great as well. And we should just kind of experiment with that, because our palates are becoming modern and we're becoming broader in that sense. So I've added pretty much the 4 or 5 spices. Now this is my mom's. So remember I was saying earlier that my mother-in-law who cooked the shit out of everything, my mother who made like 4 or 5 spices, but she did it with really 4. So I only used literally 4 to 5 spices in here. I'm going to pass this box around without the salt. I'm going to just add a little bit of mango powder to this. Mango powder. So I'm going to pass this around. Just do me a favor. Just have a look at the palette. Like, look at this spices, and then just pass it out to everybody else. And imagine, as an Indian chef or an Indian cook, you never follow recipes. We never follow recipes. You have this little palette of spices in front of you, and then you add a little bit of this, and then add a little bit of that, and just whatever you feel like. Imagine if you were an artist, if you were somebody who was drawing something, and you had this palette of colors in front of you, and your canvas was your pot, you would improvise as you would wish, and it's never exactly the same. You know, in a computer form, when you press enter, it's always the same command. Spices and cooking is to be something that you enjoy and go with the flow, and enjoy what you feel like. Some days a little less spicy, some days it's a little more spicy. So when people call me up in the middle of the rush at 7:30 on a Saturday night, and they say, well, my chicken curry didn't taste as good as the one that I had at your restaurant, I usually say, look at the color of your skin and look at the color of my skin. That's the only way I can define or differentiate. That looks great. So I'm going to just taste the sauce before. Everybody can see the color of the sauce? That's damn good. Everybody, can you see it? Rich, intense red color, right? Extremely rich red color. Right? This chicken. But I cook the chicken with bone in though. The chicken? No, I just put it in there like that. Raw. Why would you roast the chicken beforehand? Okay. No, that's a good question though. So put the raw chicken in there because all the flavor of the chicken and the bones will go into the sauce itself. If you roast it in a separate pan, then the juices will flow out of it and then you will have to add some form of flavor to it. That's the reason. So I want you guys to look at the palette of the spices there, and whoever has gotten it. That's great. Now I'm going to add a little bit of yogurt at the end. What's the culture in yogurt? There has to be a nutritionist here. What's the culture in yogurt? Acidophilus. Did you say that? Brilliant. Brilliant. Acidophilus. You know, Indians and Greeks have been eating yogurt for thousands of years. And now suddenly we have these little pills called acidophilus pills for your stomach. Trust me, have a bowl of natural, pure yogurt a day. You will never need acidophilus because it has beautiful acidophilus in it. Have a nice bowl of yogurt. And the other thing I would say is, buy yourself regular yogurt. Eat regular stuff. When you tamper with food that much, when you make it low fat, when you mess with it, when you play with that, you end up losing some form of integrity of the product. I'd rather eat a pure, beautiful apple or a bell pepper or a carrot than to have these mixed up carrot bars and carrot stuff. It's just, I just think, you know, you need them because when you go kayaking and stuff like that, you need it. I'm not saying that you don't need it, but try to enjoy as much natural produce available. When the fresh fruits come from here, like the stuff that grows here, like tomatoes and the apples that grow there, it's delicious, it's perfect. I mean, we really do have a bounty here in Kelowna and around the neighborhoods, in Penticton and all that stuff, that is producing great stuff. We should be so proud of ourselves and how good the farmers and how hard those guys have worked in order to create, you know, great produce for us. Anyway, so chicken curry right there. I'm going to add a little bit of yogurt right at the end. And the yogurt is what whipping cream is to the French, is what yogurt is to us. Now, somebody said you would add a little bit of yogurt to it. No, the idea behind the rich creaminess that curry comes from is from the yogurt. Because what yogurt also does with the spices, it kind of just, so that initial, that little harshness that you would get from a curry, it softens it off. The French do it all the time with a little bit of whipping cream, and then they'll add a little stock to it or whatever they do. The Indians do it with a lot of yogurt. The people who are really key in making yogurt dishes is a region of India called Gujarat, which is northeast, and they make such delicious yogurt dishes that you would think that, and it's totally different. Most of the cooking that you see in North America or in Canada is Punjabi cooking, which is from northern part of India. But there's a huge aspect of Indian cooking that is unbelievable and untouched from northwest, South India, that uses great stuff as well. And it is a little bit like this. When the Punjabis came, you know, with the Sikhs or the people with the turbans on, when they came to North America, when they came to Canada, they opened up Punjabi restaurants, Indian restaurants, and everybody thought that that was what Indian food was all about. Whereas Indian food is not only butter chicken and chicken tikka masala, there's more to it. It's a little bit like, you know, if you went to India and opened up a pancake restaurant, and then somebody else opened up another pancake restaurant, and rest of India thinks that all these people in Vancouver eat pancakes, because that's what they think. Because that's exactly what happened. But there is more to it, you know, and that's what the style of it. So Gujaratis use a lot of yogurt in their cooking, and they do a great job of it. So if you ever get a chance, rather than just eating Punjabi food, if you look at the South Gujarati food, which is northeast of India, you will enjoy that style of cooking as well. A little bit subtle, a little bit sweeter, but very flavorful. That's a great question. Do I ever use coconut milk? Yes, I do a lot of coconut milk. I usually do it with South Indian style of dishes. So because South India uses a lot of prawns, a lot of seafood, I use a lot of. So that's a great question. 4 different styles of cooking. North India uses a lot of whipping cream and a little of yogurt. South India uses coconut milk because that's what they have lots of. Gujarat uses a lot of yogurt, and Bengalis have a spice called panchpurn, which is a blend of 5 different spices, and they add a little bit of yogurt to it. So North India, South India differentiates between coconut milk and cream and yogurt on the top. Where am I from originally, and which region do I come? I'm originally from northern part of India, from Punjab. I grew up in Delhi and Bombay. And my style of cooking is like, you come to my house, and that's the food I've cooked to you. I don't cook any regional food. I just cook my own. If I come to your house and you make me a delicious pasta, and it's tasty, who bloody cares what it's called? As long as it's tasty. If the love and the passion is behind the food, that's all that matters. That's the most important part. You need to cook the food with that love and the passion, and not just for the sake of doing it. And that's the important part. So the style of cooking we do is from all over India. North India, South India. I mix and match. I go to India, I travel, I come back, and I combine my own version of it. It's like a little bit like you come to my house, and that's the kind of food I've served you. Any other questions?
Does vegan yogurt have the same properties as dairy yogurt?
Does vegan yogurt, you know what, I'll be lying, I do not know. I do not know if vegan yogurt would have the same. I don't think it can. Technically it does make sense. Because if you're going to use milk, then the milk will have, and every time you substitute it, I don't think it'll be the same thing though.
Oh, soya.
You make it out of soya? Okay. No, I don't think so.
In your little spice tray, there was one that was almost like citrus. Like, was that the melon one?
That's the mango powder.
Mango powder. Okay.
I was going to say that was BC weed, but I won't say that. It'll be green then? I don't know. I haven't had one in a long time. Mango powder. What does mango powder do? I'm sorry, I was just joking. You gotta have some fun, right?
Oh, it makes great cookies.
It makes great cookies? So, do you have some? I'm surprised we didn't bring any wine out here. Like, we are in the heart of Kelowna and we didn't have any wine. Next time. Note to self, wine please. What was the question? You had a question about
Mango powder.
mango powder. So what does mango powder do? Mango powder is naturally an acidity. It's a natural preservative. It's a natural preservative. So you'll find a lot of places where they, you know, when you do canning, you use a lot of lemon juice. Indians, when they use pickling, they use a lot of mango powder. So mango powder is a great preservative of food. Because here's the thing, in India, how did we preserve food? It's not like we had huge amount of electricity. When I was growing up in India, my grandmother would drink 4 to 5 cups of tea a day, and she would be sweating, like really sweating, drenched. And it's not like I had electricity back home, like our fan would go like that. So what you would do, you would take a little piece of cardboard and you would fan yourself down. Because when you sweat, and when you fan yourself, it cools your body temperature down. That's why if you look at the countries that are near the equator, India, Singapore, Malaysia, Malaysia, all the countries that are near the equator eat spicy hot foods, and all the countries that are away from the equator, like Germany, Norway, and all those places eat less spicy foods because they need to retain the heat, whereas we eat spicy food to release the heat. So even in the middle of summer, when they're here, if you have some hot food, there's nothing wrong with it. It's good. It actually cools your palate down, cools your system down. It's actually good for you. Sweating is not bad. Sweating is actually good. That's right. So mango powder, chilies, cumin, cloves, coriander, these are all natural spices. Does anybody know what Ayurveda is? Ayurveda. You know what is it?
Sorry?
What is Ayurveda?
It's the science of life.
Science of life. It's a science of spices and the incorporation of spices in your life is Ayurveda. And Ayurveda is, so all these Indian spices have a natural element of health benefits to it. If you look at it, you look at so many, I don't know, is there a nutritionist here? I'm sure there isn't. Okay. If there's somebody out there, they would know. Why would you eat turmeric? Why would you eat cumin? Why would you eat cloves? There's an actual science behind it. They're not just spices. They were actually a thought process. Why people had turmeric, spices for the color and all that stuff. There's an important part there. Anyway, so I added the yogurt to it. And I'm going to add some salt to it. I know. I'm a salt freak. I am a salt. I apologize, but I'm a salt freak. That was sea salt, yeah. It was sea salt. Lots of it. I think it needs some salt. So, here's the chicken curry that I would make. I'm going to add cilantro right at the end. Why would I add cilantro right at the end? It holds its flavor, it holds its color. Anytime you add cilantro beforehand, it decolors itself, becomes black, and it has its, it doesn't have the same flavor. So cilantro, green spices, always added at the end. And texture kind of a thing as well. So just before you are serving, you would add that. I'm going to wait for this to kind of cook it down a little bit and thicken it up. I'm going to just need that masala box back, because I need to just fine-tune the chicken curry. What kind of peppers? Hold on a second, guys. What kind of peppers would I use? Of serranos? It depends though. There's a dish, on the cookbook, on the first cookbook, there's this prawn curry that uses jalapenos. And there is, and then I use serranos as well, depending again, if I really, really want a particular flavor in it, then I would use, but I also use some South Indian chilies, which I think a lot of the markets are now starting to bring in those little thin ones. Those are really hot. They're delicious. Add a little small, add only a small amount to it, but they're delicious, but they're a little hot. I'm going to add some cumin powder to it, and a little bit of coriander. Now, we're going to wait for this to kind of cook it down a little bit. Now, we could have added whipping cream to this and made it into a richer style, but I didn't want to make it really, really heavy. I want to make it a little bit subtle. Any other questions? No, I'm just...
Where do you get your spices?
Where do I get my spices from? I get my spices usually from a guy in India, and he brings it in here into Vancouver, and we buy it bulk from him. But we still roast our own spices, we still sift our own spices. Still at the restaurant, I've got this, a couple of old ladies that are sitting right there and with the trays, and we go through the spices and pick out some stones and whatever that comes out, and we still work. So at the end of the day, I am still like an old world style of a restaurant that's hand picking, but it believes in that. I don't know, are there any winemakers here? There's no winemakers here? If you're making wine, for example, you just don't drop all the grapes in your bins. You always pick at the best ones. You drop some fruit down. You'll enjoy, just the best of the grapes. So that's what we do at the restaurant as well. We do sift all the spices and stuff. Anything else? Any other questions?
So it's Nature's Fair, will they have the spices that you cooked with tonight?
Pardon me?
Will this store have the spices that you cooked with tonight?
Will the store have those spices? Like because I don't know. Does Nature Fair carries Indian spices at all?
Yeah,
They do? Most of them, yes they do.
So I came in last week to get spices and they didn't have the ones that I needed.
Oh, they didn't?
No,
Okay. She came in last week and they didn't have it. So I shall pass it on to the higher management. To the higher management. I'll slap them on the wrist. Any other questions so far? Yeah. It's on 11th and Granville. It's on 11th and Granville, it's in 1480 West. And I don't take reservations, and I'm very proud of that. Who has been to Vij's? Oh, pretty much everybody has. Who's trying to go there? Does anybody know why I don't take reservations? Does anybody want to know why I don't take reservations?
because half the time they don't show up when they make reservations.
That's not quite the case. You have to understand from my angle, in 1994 when I first opened the restaurant up, what was the reason? I wanted everybody to be equal. It was important for me, it doesn't matter. It is as important to me that a nurse that goes to Rwanda and saves lives, or a teacher that teaches my kids how to be a better human being is any less important than an actor or an actress whose name is plastered over a billboard. I wanted everybody to be equal. I wanted everybody to come in and enjoy the hospitality the way we do it in India. I'm a very proud Indian, and I wanted people to enjoy that style. So when you come in, you get a little cup of tea, something from the kitchen is brought out to you a couple of times, and we share that experience with you. And it's not a restaurant. A lot of people say, you open up a restaurant in Kelowna, and I was like, restaurants are like women, they need a lot of bloody attention. So I didn't mean to say that. I was looking at him, but he was like, I really wanted people to be equal. It was very important for me that it didn't matter where you come from, how much money you have, and that's great that you have a lot of money, and I'm great that you're wealthy, and then all that stuff. But you come to my house, and that, for me, it is really important that the teacher because teachers and nurses are the two professions that don't get as much accolades, and it's like they really work hard, and I really make sure that everybody gets equally treated. It doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what you do. Money is not the issue. The issue is the quality. And I can understand if I was making you stand outside in a bank line, and all you were watching is the stupid television. When you're in the bank line or something, you come, you hang out at the back, you have a glass of wine, you chill out, we bring you lots to munch on. I always say, if you have nothing to talk to each other for an hour while you're waiting, what the hell are you going to talk to each other when you sit down and eat? Don't go out with that person. Stay at home. Do takeout. So, anyway, the chicken curry is almost done. I'm going to add some cilantro to it. Maybe I should know. I'm going to just add to this. And I'm going to finish that off. Yeah. I'm going to stir it up. Can I get a few more sprigs of cilantro? I don't think I cut enough. Please. Now, just a little bit more. So this is the first chicken curry that my mother used to make. It's called the Vij's family chicken curry. It's very simple. This is the starting point. My mother used to make this. I'll tell you a little story behind this. My mother and my father came in '94 from India, and you have to understand India is 35 degrees centigrade, right? 35, 40 degrees all year round. and they come to Vancouver in September, October, and it's 17, 18 degrees. And my mom is freezing. Like, so she's dressed like an Eskimo. Like literally like those like really heavy jackets and stuff, because she's really cold. And she would make a pot of this chicken curry every afternoon around 3:34, because she didn't believe in giving like bad food to the people that were coming if they came to the restaurant. And she would carry this like a little pot of curry between her legs on the bus in Richmond. And she would just kind of put her head down, and she never told me till the longest time that everybody on the bus would look at her and saying, what is this woman doing carrying a pot of chicken curry between her legs? You know, until we got the first review. So this was the first chicken curry that we made that got the first review from, I still remember, 17th of November, 1994. This food writer came in and she gave us a great review on this chicken curry and said, he was trying to do something different and it wasn't butter chicken and wasn't chicken tikka masala style, it was something totally different. And here we are. This is the chicken curry that we haven't looked back since then, but it was her family chicken curry, and it's in your book as well. Have a look at it. I don't know whether, obviously we haven't made enough of it for everybody to try, but is there little spoons if somebody wants to come up, or no? Am I opening up a can of worms? I am. All right, so you know what? I just made this chicken curry for the staff that worked really, really hard. You guys are going to taste the green beans and the chicken curry. On that note, I just want to say thank you to Nature's Fair, obviously, for letting me to come out here, and thank you all for coming out here and making me feel so well. One more thing I'll just say, everybody talks about this celebrity stuff and all that stuff. At the end of the day, we just love our cooking. And honestly, Vikram Vij can get all the accolades he wants, but I do want to say this, that my backbone are my Indian women that are in my kitchen, that are cooking day in and day out for me, so that I can come out here and be part of this community. So my hat's off to those hardworking women who are in my kitchen, and I'm honored to say that they have, they are the ones who have put me on a pedestal. I do not want to take all the credit for this, and they really worked hard for me. So I want to say, and all the staff, all the team, the whole team that works. It doesn't take one person to run the organization. It takes a lot of group, a lot of family. So do not think that I'm the only one who's getting all the accolades. It goes to them as well. Anyway, thank you. Okay, so do we have the green beans for everybody? They're coming. Well, maybe I should just pass this around and kind of tease you guys a little. You can look at it. It didn't take long at all. Yeah. Yes, somebody just asked me if you cook vegetables like this. Yes, you can. You can cook the vegetables the same way. The only advantage is that you don't need to cook them for that long. You can cook raw vegetables and this like that. It'll be tasty. Huh? Chicken breast. Whoever's here, the quick question was, there's a recipe for crickets in the cookbook. Crickets. Like grasshoppers, like crickets. So, like crickets, not like grasshoppers. you know, we at the restaurant, my wife and I both believe that sustainability is an important part of our culture, of our food. It's very important. And what prawns are to the ocean is what crickets are to the ground. And I'm not saying you don't eat beef, I'm not saying you don't eat lamb, I'm not saying you don't eat anything else. I'm saying crickets are part. A 1,000 crickets has the same protein value as a 6-ounce steak. And the infrastructure required for a 6-ounce steak is far more than 1,000 crickets. So it is eaten in Southeast Asian cultures all the time. We're just not used to it. Yeah, so what we do is we take the crickets, they come in little boxes, we freeze them. That's how it's not like they're running around in the kitchen, running after them, trying to kill them or anything like that. They're actually in a box, they're freezed, we pull them out, we roast them in the oven, and then we make a flour out of it. Like a roast and a food process. So it's very fine flour, and then we add little all-purpose flour and regular cricket flour, mix it together and make a bread out of it. You know where I got the idea from? The First Nations used to do it. When they used to survive over the winter, they used to make cricket breads like that. They used to make thick cricket breads, and that's how they got the protein back. But lots of time ago. Long time ago.